people call me Dennis. I'm a spiritual being walking around in a meat suit. And today, sitting beside me here,
I am a multi-dimensional spiritual being incarnate in a body that's having a human experience. My name is Neil, and in this conversation, there's this thing with fasting, and when we fast, it's essentially a reset for our bodies. It can be like a spiritual upgrade. It has the potential to elevate our vibration from where we've been to a whole new state and way of being. And Dennis, you've recently experienced a 5-day fast, and could you go into what was your purpose for doing this fast in the first place?
yeah, so I had just gotten sick. I had intentions to do it in January, close to the beginning of the year, and I decided not to, and then I got sick. I believe it was food poisoning, but I don't know for sure. And I was like, you know what, this is, I felt like this was an indicator that it was time for a fast. And not only that, so part of it was health related, and then there was also, I wanted to test my will and increase my willpower, gain clarity, and so those are the three things that really come to mind when asked the question.
What do you feel like your willpower was like prior to going into the fast? Percentage.
Percentage compared to what?
Compared to where you're at right now.
I feel like it's very similar. I feel it's close to being the same. And the one thing that I do notice now that I didn't, that was a lot more apparent before I did the fast, was the noise in my head. So, and when I say about the noise in my head, specifically what I'm referring to is the ego. You know, you should be doing this, or you should be doing that, or you're not doing enough, or fuck, I didn't get this done, so now I'm worthless, or I judge myself all the time, all this self-criticism, beating myself up, and etc.
This was prior to the fast?
Yes. And now it's a lot more, I feel a lot more present, I feel a lot calmer, a lot more in the moment. And a lot of those voices have really, they don't show they don't appear like they used to.
I find this very fascinating that you're bringing this up, because I was observing a video that Andrew Huberman spoke about, and I'll link that video in the description. And what he was communicating about was that when people drink an excess amount of coffee, and he's done this himself, he prided himself on getting a lot of work done, and he was drinking a lot of caffeine, and when he went to the doctor, they asked him if he was abusing alcohol because his liver was being affected from the excess amount of coffee that he was drinking. And that was just a piece. What my point was with bringing this up was that during the time when he was drinking this excess coffee, he had this experience of being like looking into the future and looking for goals to accomplish, and really being focused out there and not really present in the body. And now that he's adjusted his habits and he has more stabilize his caffeine intake, there's literally your neurons, your neurochemistry in your brain actually begins to behave differently, and what he's experiencing now is being more present in his body, and he doesn't really have the need to go and look ahead and look out there, and he's just content where he's at in his physical vehicle. And I heard that in what you shared, and that's the reason I brought this up.
I can very much relate to that. Like, I felt a lot of anxiety, and I was living in the future or in the past, like most of the time. And that...
Which is living in a place that doesn't exist.
Right. And I would say, like, that is probably the biggest blessing that's come out of this 5-day fast.
So let's go to day one. And so the first day of your fast, what was your amount of, were you hungry during that time? What were your energy levels like? And what kind of activities did you implement? Can you walk us through, and possibly your first day, just some of the relevant points, like activities, energy levels, and your hunger level during that first day?
Yeah, so the first day, initially I was hungry until, I remember, like around lunchtime, and at noon or in the evening I was hungry, and I did feel that I didn't get anywhere close to food. So...
Was this intentional?
Yes. So I feel like that was a big contributor to my will, and I did very minimal movement. Like, I laid down, and I went to a place where there was a lot of cicadas, and I just lay there, and I got into a very meditative state. This was in the afternoon, and I did feel very weak the first 2 days. So that was the first day. I was really hungry, and then the second day, I started noticing how... So my ego is going fucking crazy at the first day.
And when you say it was going crazy, what were you experiencing?
It was still trying to figure out how to do this fast, because my ego wanted to be in control. So what I became aware of as time went on and into the second day is that as my intake of food, as my body purged all that food, also what happened is my mind got really, really quiet, because that second evening I took my brother somewhere locally, like 10 minutes away, and I'm like, holy shit. I could not believe how much quieter my mind was, because it was not getting any information into... Food is information, and because of my food intake, I was not receiving any new information. So therefore what happened is my mind started to become very, very quiet, and I was really starting to... I remember making the comment to Neil, I'm like, this is really fucking nice. Not to have all that chatter in my brain. So, and this was on the second evening, day number 2.
And were you hungry on day number 2?
I was hungry. I felt like a lot of... I didn't feel very much. I was not energetic. All I wanted to do was just lay around and Um, I was being a victim actually, and I can see now that it was my ego, like just doing its final. It was doing its final thing of being in control.
So now, going to day 3, what were your energy levels like? What was your hunger like? And then also, this was obviously a food fast. Were you also fasting from water? What kind of intake were you taking in on a daily basis? And like, can you go into that some?
Yeah, so I would wake up and I noticed that the first 2 days I noticed that I was not drinking enough water. And so
you were drinking water during this
I
time?
was drinking water all like throughout the day.
Was it just water? What kind of water was it?
Yes. It was just water. And I would also eat honey. And not eat, but drink it or whatever. And that's another thing.
How many times?
It depended. Like, it really, I felt because of the way that it metabolized, like that's how I sustained some of my energy. So there was a couple days where I would just go and just take a little, like maybe 2 spoons of honey. And this was in the morning and sometimes in the afternoon. So, maybe 4 to 5 spoons of honey per day. And the rest of it was water. And what I was going to say on the water aspect is I noticed myself getting dehydrated. And what I would do then is I would just go eat a bunch of Himalayan salt. I would just took a spoon and just, I just ate it and just washed it down with water. So that is how I got my body to hydration. And even though I wasn't drinking enough at that point. What the salt did is it gave my body had a desire to drink water.
It's actually like electrolytes. So salt and Himalayan salt specifically increases the absorption of the water into the cells of our bodies. So that's a piece. So do you feel like going into day 4, or do you want to go right to day 5? What are you feeling?
So day 4, I started getting more energy. I started noticing that my desire to eat was not there anymore.
So you felt more energized day 4 than on the first 2 days of your fast?
Yes. And then skipping forward to day 5, now I felt very fucking energized. And I felt like my body, like I had actually used my will and overridden what my ego wanted to do, what the monkey mind wanted me to do. So I actually felt very good on day 5.
And by good, you felt energized. Did you feel like you wanted to exert physical effort? Were you having thoughts in your brain? What was going on?
So I didn't want to do physical activity, just because I knew that I would probably lose muscle mass, and I wanted to keep that at a minimum. So I do remember specifically, we were at the breakfast table here in the village at AWAKEN, and I was asked the question, how I was feeling, and it was interesting because I said, I feel great, and I didn't really have anything to add because at that point my mind was very clear. Like I had never felt as clear as I did at that point. So I made the decision day 5, which was Wednesday evening, to eat a little bit,
And this would have been the completion of your fast?
Yes, this was at night, like 6:30 in the evening, and because I wanted to be ready to exert physical energy the next day, and so then fast forward to the time where I went to sleep.
Well, I wanted to ask what you ate.
Yeah, so I ate a little bowl of oatmeal, and I ate a couple of big pieces of, not big pieces, but like 2 slices of papaya, and some oatmeal and peanut butter.
And then, did you feel energized after you ate that, or was your energy similar to before you had eaten?
It was very much energized, yes.
And then, did you notice more thoughts in your mind space after you ate?
Yes, I felt them coming back. And I also want to go back 2 days. I just remembered something. So day number 2, which was Sunday evening, we have what we call a Tingo Domingo down here. And I was assisting Neil making teas in the kitchen. And I remember that there was people around, and you know, we got live music down here, and everybody's jamming, having a good time. And I'm in there like, I am fucking, like, kind of bitching, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, these people are just chit-chatting and talking, and they're not saying anything. Because I was in this space of no thoughts, and here these people are just chit-chatting, I'm like,
and when you go for it,
and
then I have a question.
I felt like I needed to get the fuck out of there and just be by myself, because there was just too much noise too much stimulus around me at that point.
And when you said that the people weren't saying anything, what are you referring to?
What I'm referring to is I felt that the quality of the words out of the people's mouths were gibberish, and it was just chit chat. It was just literally jibber jabber, things that had no depth. There was no depth to the conversation. Like surface level small talk. And if you've ever been here in the village, you know that's like, we have a lot of deep conversation, and most of it is. And it was just from the space that I was at that point, is I just felt that it was just for me, it was a different, I was looking at and hearing things from a different perception than I had ever heard them before.
Do you feel like it was less clear or more clear?
I felt like it was more clear. Like, I felt like I didn't even have to say anything.
And why was that?
Because I was more present than I had ever been in my life.
So now you just ate oatmeal, you just ate 2 slices of papaya, your fast is complete, and then you were going somewhere with that.
Yeah, so I remember going and laying down and getting ready to go to sleep, and I felt this energy in my root chakra.
And for people who might not have an awareness of the root chakra, where is that located?
That is at the basis, right in the groin area. And then it goes from the root chakra. So if you're a male, it'd be the pole, and if you're a female, it'd be the hole. Pole and a hole. That's the root chakra. So after the root chakra, you have the solar plexus and the throat chakra, or the heart.
Sacral.
The sacral and the heart chakra. And what I experienced is that I felt this energy from my root chakra like moving up, and it was like maybe this. It felt like a 3-inch wide energy just and moving. And as I laid there,
So was it like moving straight? Was it doing this number? Was it curving? What was the movement that you felt?
it was in the root, and then it came to the sacral chakra.
Right. Did it
And
feel
then-
like straight? Did
Yes.
it feel like an open
Yes.
channel?
Yes. I would say like 3 inches from my center of my body up. 3 inches wide. And up to my sacral.
And what time of the evening was this?
Probably like 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And so I was like, because I had, I've been experimenting with breath work and just, different things to try to get to that next level, as probably many of you are as well. So I was like, if I'm feeling this, I wonder what happens if I start breathing. And I breathe, as I inhale, I breathe in more and I bring the energy on up. And then as I exhale, I imagine exhaling all the dark energy that was no longer serving me. And
So you were meditating in the manner that you just presented.
exactly.
And were you meditating before this began to occur, or did it just start to occur and then you went into your meditation?
It started to occur. I felt the energy and I felt it move to my sacral.
Wow.
And then I was like, well, if it's here, I wonder what I can do if I breathe. And I tried to expand it and bring it more up. And what happened is like it felt similar to a cacao when you eat cacao. Like when your heart chakra just opens up and it's just like this massive, like the universe is breathing or Mother Earth is breathing with you. Like you feel this expansion of love. And so I was in that space for probably a good 15 minutes. And it was very, very incredible.
So you felt it go to your sacral. Did it continue farther? Where did you feel it kind of rest? Did you feel it go all the way to your crown? What was your experience?
So I felt as if it came up to my throat, and then that's pretty much where the energy, I wasn't aware that it went on up from there, but I did feel that it went to the throat, and then that's pretty much where I feel that I was not aware of it moving further if it did move further. My awareness was only to here.
And that's where you were experiencing that love pulsating.
Yes, yes.
That's beautiful. I really genuinely appreciate you sharing everything you've shared, Dennis. This is the first time that I've heard any of this. So it's thank you.
You're welcome. And I would very much recommend, if you ever come to a place in your life where things seem to be spiraling out of control and your ego wants to be in control all the time. So if you ever feel that place where you're just anxiety and you feel down, you feel depressed, whatever, just fucking make a decision. And
a decision is to cut off from all other options.
And just like do it fast, and you will be amazed when you get out of the other side at the quality of how your perception changes, how your mind is quiet, how all those voices that were, tearing you down, the judgment, the self-criticism, the lack mindset, all of that will dissipate. So I would very, very much highly recommend it.
Thank you for watching this. If you're new to the channel, be sure and subscribe, and also like this video. Your difference is what makes a difference. Thank you for being you. Peace.